All right, welcome to Political Voice. I'm Moses Humphrey, and this feels like an abridged version of the show. Well, President Bola Tinubu has sent the list of the second batch of ministerial nominees to the Senate for screening. Well, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, submitted the letter containing the names of the nominees to Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, on Wednesday, 2nd of August 2023. On July 27, Tinubu forwarded a list of 28 nominees to the Senate for screening and confirmation. The president's request was contained in a letter read by Akpabio on the floor of the upper legislative chamber. Well, Senate President Akpabio, after receiving the list, referred the president's request to a committee. On Monday, the Red Chamber began screening of the first batch of ministerial nominees. Nyesom Wike, former governor of Rivers State, David Umahi, Senate Deputy Majority Leader, and Dele Alake are among those who have been screened so far. Akpabio later read the letter containing 19 names of the second batch of ministerial nominees. Well, ministerial nominees are screened by the Committee of the Whole, chaired by the Senate President. The latest nominees include Ahmed Tijani, Bosun Tijani, Dr. Miriam Shetty, Ishak Salako, Tunji Alausa, Tanko Sununu, Adegboyega, Atiku Bagudu, Bello Matawale, Ibrahim Gaidam, Simon Lalong, Lola Adejo, Shuaibu Abubakar. Others are Tahiru Maman, Aliyu Sabi, Alkali Ahmed, Henikin Lukbobiri, Uba Meigari, and Zephaniah Gisalo. Well, joining me virtually to discuss this is Dr. Sadiq Hassan, a security expert and social commentator. Good to have you with us, Dr. Hassan.
Yes, good morning and thank you for having me on the
Pardon?
show. Good morning and thank you for having me on the show.
All right, and we do apologize for the delay. Now, now that the list is out, it's all out there. Were you surprised? Does anything in that
I
list
am not,
surprise you?
yeah, well, if you ask me, am I surprised? I will tell you that there's no any surprise because this is what we have been hoping and what we have been waiting for Mr. President to send the list to the National Assembly for confirmations. In fact, some of us were even expecting that before now, the list is supposed to have been ready. But despite by maybe they took their time to do the selections based on their CV, their achievements so far they've done before the name were finally sent to the National Assembly, which is that's why I said to me, I'm not surprised.
Not surprised.
Yes.
Now, if I mean, these are well-known names. These are people that have been in government. The majority of them have been in government, ex-governors, ex-senators, and the rest of them. Now, if the president was going to have them on his team, it's expected that he would have known right after elections that these people will be on his team. Why then did it take so long to get the list out to the Senate?
Yes, if you I agree with you that these are the people who have been in the government, their campaign process and all that. But you know, sometimes in the democratic settings, it does not take a fast, quick one, because some of them they are new in government, while some have been there, and also there are internal check that the president is supposed to do with the party, consultative, and all that to see the zone, the state where they are coming from. So these are also what will now be able to delay on that. Because during campaign, you might have people in mind. But it is after you have been declared, you can now say, okay, this person I have in mind, what way did he come from, which constituency, which party? You look at all these are also what I can say that's the internal delay within the president purview to look at it. But since the law has also given a which he has able to meet it, I think if we are looking at the delay, this is what I can say internally has caused the delay, because you need to look at their CV. Because during the time when some of them, like El-Rufai now, when he was a governor of Kaduna State, Omahi, the same thing, he was a former governor of Ebonyi State. The government at that time, they might not have the CV and the detail, certain qualifications. because if people voted them in there and they are there. So this is, I said, this is what might also delay from the president before it's been transmitted into the National Assembly.
Some would disagree with you that because I mean, these people, especially the ex, the governors among them are people that we know already. So we have their CVs. We know. I mean, before they got into office, during electioneering, during campaign, Nigerians got to know, and then so there are a lot known about them already. Now let's look at the list now. At first, we had 28 names. Nigerians were expecting 11 more names, so it falls in line with the 37 states or 36 states and the FCT. But what we have now is 47 names. Yes, 47 names. That's what we have now. 19 added to the initial 28. This seems like a bloated cabinet. In a time when Nigerians are looking at are crying that government should cut the cost of governance, what do you make of this?
But thank you. This is the area I would like us to really look at. For start, Nigerians as people and as government, we underrate our potential. We underrate our size of our economy. That is why when the people are saying we should reduce the cost of governance, reducing the cost of governance, it is not in the numbers of the ministers or the NDA you have. It is the way, manner which we spend money of government expenditure. It is what costs the cost of governance. Today, I will tell you, when they declared that Nigeria economy is over $500 billion, I said it's more than that, because we have a huge gap in terms of informal sector. Now, if you look at it, bringing it now back to the governance, also the kind of numbers of the ministry today people think we have, to me, we are still under. We need to have more ministry so that the governance can be more effective. But people will look at it, creating more office, that is where the overbloated in terms of this is, no, that's so. It is in the way, manner which we spend the money that what we think is priority, and that is what we really need. That is the area where money economy went into, where people now think that the government is bloated, you need to reduce the cost. I agree to reduce the cost of governance. We need to look at it. Which area are you reducing the cost of governance? I will give you a practical example today. We have a Minister of Education with a Minister of State, which is true. We have primary school, we have secondary school, and we have tertiary, and we have university, and we have other. To me, for effective, we're supposed to have the Ministry of Primary Education, who responsible only on the primary. I will tell you today, if you take a state, 36 states including FCC, how many primary schools do we have in Nigeria? And what is the numbers of the people that are in this school? We are saying a lot of over how many millions of children are out of school due to simply because of lack of financing for their parents to put them in school. If we believe that basic education is the key for the success, why don't we have the Ministry of Basic Education that now only the primary and secondary educations, because it's the bedrock of education. But today, you are using one minister who oversees the university, the polytechnic, the college of education, all other higher institutions, medical school, and what have you. And now come back to the secondary school before you talk of primary school.
No,
Only
but isn't that why we have subcommittees? Isn't that why we have the ministries can form committees to look into these other things instead of duplicating the ministries?
Yes, there are areas that have its own substantial minister. In order for you to be able to see, when you now have a committee, it's like you are creating a chain. But I want a situation where you have a direct. What is wrong for a minister to visit primary school today, state by state, as a part of his work, and be able to come back and say, oh, this is the state of the primary school we have today. And I'll tell you over the years which of the minister of education has visited the primary school in Nigeria. And we call this the basic education. And basic education, the minister does not have first-hand information about that basic education department. You only have now give you information. Why, to me as a minister, you are the one supposed to have interactive with the headmasters of each of the primary school, because that is what we call basic education. Now you see that by the time you have a minister for that who goes around state by state to look at it, what is the government part are they going to play vis-a-vis local government or government? You could see that there's a lot of work there for that minister to do. But today, you are appointing one minister or two who oversee all these educations. And you now have other organs of the ministry, which are not directly in terms of primary school or in terms of the classes and all that. But the basic thing is that what kind of teacher are you having in that particular classes? What kind of a structure do you have? What is wrong for a minister of education to say you are only dedicated for primary education, for effective basic education? So these are the things we need to look at. Sometimes I've said that Nigeria, we are like Nigeria in a hurry, Africa in a go-slow. It is what we take as a priority that is the problems. So, and that is not the area people can come and say government is being overbloated. No. It is what we take as things that are more important than what we needed. Sometimes we do things that we don't need it. I give another example today. As this new minister is coming on board now, their office is going to be renovated. You are going to buy a lot of furniture. You are going to give him quarters and all that. These are areas that we are spending money.
Well, we seem to be having a problem with the quality of the network there. Well, I do hope that we can re-establish contact with Dr. Sadiq Hassan so we can continue this conversation. Dr. Hassan is a security expert and a social commentator, and we're looking at the list, the new list that has been sent to the Red Chamber for screening. 19 more names are out there, in addition to the 28 that were sent earlier. And when the screening started on Monday, the Senate did say that they will screen all the nominees in 3 days. Well, I think we have been able to re-establish contacts with Dr. Hassan. Dr. Hassan, good morning to you once again. Are you back with us?
Yeah, good morning for having me.
All right, go ahead. We do apologize for that break. There was a glitch in the network there.
Yes.
Continue with your thoughts.
Yes. It is not the numbers of the minister you are appointing. That is the area where people said the government is large. We need to cut that and all that. No. That's why I said I expected that we should have the minister that responds for basic education today, since that area is the bedrock of any education of any society in the world. Now, I now give you a typical example. Take about 36 states of the federations and FCT. How many primary schools do we have in each of these states? How did the Minister of Education have able to have one-on-one within the headmaster or headmistress of each of these primary schools? Now, I give you a typical example. If you are aware that those who are in primary school today, which is from age 4, age 5, and they're in primary school, when they know that a minister has come to these schools, it gives them a hope and a desire for tomorrow. It gives, it's the last thing when you have such office visited your school, having one-on-one at that very age, it will go a long way. Today, I will tell you, I don't think most of the ministers we have has ever visited primary school or secondary school to have one-on-one or interface with the pupils of that school. So this is the area where we are supposed to say, no, this is the kind of the minister we are supposed to have. You now agree with me, if we are doing that, we are going to have about 3 or 4 ministers in terms of Ministry of Education alone.
But we have...
For the area where I think we needed to reduce money, it is where they spend money. When you are now appointing this new minister now, they start buying SVU car. Meanwhile, if you buy a new car today, it can take you for 10 years before you start having any issue at your tenure. Why would the minister continue to buy car every year? These are the area where we are supposed to look into. Because government is to go there and serve the people. Not supposed to go there and live luxury. No, you only go there and serve the people. And a government house is a quarter. A state house is a quarter. That you go there during the time you are going to be in the government and do your work and go back to where you are coming from. So these are areas I said we should reduce the cost, not the numbers of the people you are appointing in a particular place. Today, we are underemployed at that particular level.
Well, that's your opinion. Some will now argue in that regard that why then do we have the Minister of State? Because the minister, and then you will work in conjunction with the Minister of State, who is a lesser minister. But anyway, let's look at the fact that let's talk about the names once again. These names are out there. We know these people. Some of them have been governors for some time, and some Nigerians will argue that as governors, they didn't exactly do fantastically well. How then do we think that they will perform the magic when they become ministers?
A point of yes, there's no any ministry or any minister that is less. All ministers are equal, because where you have a federal minister and you have a state minister, there are agencies where you oversee. So we should be able to have that, because it's pushing a lot of politicians that they're looking for.
The Minister of State is a junior minister to the minister.
But people call it a junior, but that does not mean it's a junior in terms of the assignment is to carry it out. Now, having said that, yes, these people that who are saying they have performed in the various not before, I think that is part of their CV. Why Mr. President has now sent them to the National Assembly. If you
the fact that they did not perform.
You said what?
The fact that they did not do fantastically well is part of their CV. Why he sent them to, why he brought them on board.
Yeah, there are some of them that did not do very well when they were in the office. Why some they've done fantastically. In fact, they are result-oriented people. If, for example, you look at Malam Nasru El-Rufai from Katsina State, when he was a minister of FCT, he was one of the best ministers FCT has ever had today. And when he now moved into Kaduna State as a governor for 8 years, I personally have visited Kaduna State. I have seen the urban renewal, how we have been able to restructure in terms of economy, the IGR, and now increase. Expected. This is result-oriented person. So if such person, you are bringing them down to the federal, we also know that, yes, based on the CV, is going to perform. But the basic things that we are not looking at, it is not all about that they are in the legislature, they are now to tell who they are and all that. Agree to that. I think they should be going there to tell us. It's to tell us what we don't know. That if today Mr. President has sent your CV, it is because of what we have achieved in the past. That is why the Mr. President found you, send you there. Now, that's, to me, your CV has ended. Being sending your name to National Assembly for confirmations. The next thing now we are to start is the second phase of their life. What are you going to offer Nigerian by the time you've been confirmed? What we don't know that you know vis-a-vis our current reality in terms of economy, in terms of all sector of our economy, of our life, if today you are being confirmed by this honorable chamber. These are the questions they are supposed to ask them. Now, they'll be able to tell us.
Let me ask you.
Look.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, they will be able to now say, look, if today you confirmed me, if I am put in this ministry, this is what I'm going to achieve before leaving here, based on certain things that Nigeria it is today, vis-a-vis our current reality. So, El-Rufai, by professions, he is a quantity surveyor. But if today is okay, you are now going to be the minister of power, he should be able to tell us that in terms of generations, this is what I will do. In terms of transmissions, this is what I will do. In terms of distributions, this is what I will do. That today the current, our what we are generating today, if it is 4,000, 5,000 megawatt, then of generations, you'll be able to tell us that before the 4 years tenure, that you have been confirmed. This is my master plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm bringing to Nigeria. At that time, we can be able to have a vision that in the next also so, this is what we are expecting. From there, Nigeria will also hold them accountable, because going to the Senate is like campaign promises that you are now coming to tell us, this is what I will do if you put me here. So to me, I think this is the way we should go.
Okay, this is the way we should go.
Telling us your CV.
This is the way we should go, but does it seem like this is the way we are going? Because in the Senate, the questions are not being asked. How would you rate the screening so far when we see, when the most we have seen is take a bow and go? I'm not saying the phrase take a bow and go is bad, but then a situation whereby the nominees are not asked questions as to what they will do differently, what they will do, what they will bring into office if appointed. We just see, okay, we know you, just take a bow and leave, and the person leaves. How would you rate the process so far? Is it satisfactory to you?
The legislature and the 10th Senate Assembly, I think we need to change the model or whatever. This will be our reality, our problem. Before you are asked to take a bow and go, you should be able to tell us that this is what you are bringing to the table of Nigeria. It is even on the basis of what you have promised, then question can now ask you. By the time you now answer it correct, then from there, they can now say, okay, take a bow and go. I'll give it to you, for example. If a man has come and said, okay, today Nigeria, we are generating 6,000 megawatts. But if you confirm me today, I will make sure within the time I'm going to be a minister of energy, this is the level I'm going to take generation to. Then from there, they can now ask a question, how are you going to do it? How are you going to achieve it? Tell us. Because there are certain things, again, for them to be able to achieve, they are coming back to the House again for approval. So you can now see there are going to be a lot of collaborations, a lot of synergy within the executive and legislature. Because if a man has promised that, look, I want to provide 5,000 megawatts within the limit of the time you have given to me, and this will require a huge amount of money, and during the time they are preparing his budget, he has put it in the budget, and you refuse not to sign the budget for him his ministry, how do you expect he's going to achieve that? Which means he has now pushed the issue back to your table. That is why I call it collaborations and synergy. So it will now also inform the legislature that it's on the basis of the promise this man made when we are confirming him as a minister that he has now brought this budget. So we have no reason now not to approve the budget. They will now do their oversight function. It is on this basis you will now say, okay, you can take a vow and go. So to me, the legislature need to rethink of manner and the way we should be asking questions of those who are descending for nominations. That's why I said it's not even about coming to tell us what you have achieved, you are this before. It is on that basis Mr. President has sent you to here, which means your CV has done the job and that stopped there. But the next phase of your life now, that today we want to confirm you as a minister of Federal Republic. If we confirm you in any ministry you are going to be posted to, you can take 2 or 3 ministries for an example. Because to me, whoever is going to be the Minister of Federal Republic should be somebody of versatile in nature, so that we're able to say, oh, these people, they have what it takes to deliver. So it is on this note, when they have been able to say, this is what I will do, what I'm bringing newly into the table of Nigeria, then from there, the legislature can now say, okay, you have now told us you are worthy enough to be a Minister of Federal Republic. You can now take a bow and go. Not in the manner when you come, they are asking you to take a bow and go. I think the legislature have to have a rethink.
All right, but unfortunately, the legislature, even if they have a rethink now, the fact is this screening is almost done. So should we expect anything different from these people that will be made, that will be put into office? What should Nigerians expect differently? Should we expect performance, or should we just fold our hands and say, oh well, they have been given this opportunity, and whatever they give to us, we don't have a choice but to take.
Well, yes, since they have been passed, for now, we should have the hope that they are going to do the best.
Hope it is.
But yes, that they are going to do the best. That's why I've said, like, there are some of them who have able to see them, the various area they have handled before, they've done excellently. So on that basis, some of them were going to have hope that, okay, now that we have been also confirmed, you are going to also perform. So because they have done it before. But what of those who have not been a minister before? So now that you have been appointed, what are you bringing to the table of Nigeria? Then you should tell us. On that basis, we can now say, okay, fine. But despite that has not happened, I think also Mr. President is not someone that will appoint you and you have nothing to offer and he will allow you to be there. In fact, if I'm to tell you, go and write it down. In the next 2 years, we should also expect the shuffle of cabinet. So that those who did not perform are going within that 2 years. Why the new people who are ready will be injected into the systems. Because if for the past 2 years now, and we are not seeing anything, then which means because Nigeria has wised up democratically today. So, and Mr. President would like to perform, he want to show Nigerians that yes, all the promises he made, he fulfilled it. And he's going to fulfill them through the ministries and agency. So whoever now that the government has appointed today or legislator has now said take a bow and go, then it is now the ball on your court to prove that you are worthy enough to be a minister of Federal Republic.
Oh, well, thinking about it, we know this looks like an issue of rub my back, I rub your back. You know, you have helped me, let me compensate you. That's what it looks like with the list, especially when you look at a PDP man, Wike on that list. And now you're saying there might be a reshuffling, there might be, in your opinion, a reshuffling in the next 2 years. In as much as that might sound good to the ears, that yes, you know, the president wants to work and those that do not work will be, you know, eased out, and then others that have the capacity brought in. But then a lot would have happened between now and 2 year time. A lot would have happened. A lot of monies would have been approved. A lot of monies would have gone on. A lot of water might have passed under the bridge, and whoever needed to be compensated might have been compensated. And at that time, they could just say, okay, let's go back and wait for another election and see what we can do differently. How would that impact on the economy if we are doing what my brothers from the south, the south will call kalu kalu? I don't know if you know what that, you know, like a gamble.
Yes. Yeah, I did not look at it in that way. First of all, it is only when you have given people opportunity, then you can also determine what can they offer. That is why I said the first step where we miss it is that the legislator did not ask them, what are you bringing to the table of Nigeria? Yes, that is already out of that side. But the president who has nominated them with the hope that they're going to be add value because they have something to offer based on the CV they have done there. The president might not have the time to have one-on-one, which I call maybe a dinner interview with each of them before their name will.
All right. Oh, well, we seem to... Oh, well, that's... we must say a very big thank you to Dr. Sadiq Hassan. This is how far we can keep him on the program. We do apologize for the technical hitch there. Right. We must say thank you very much, and we thank you for watching Political Voice today. This is the size of our package today on the program. Political Voice will make a return same time tomorrow. And from the crew, on behalf of the crew, I say thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Be part of the conversation we are having here. And if there is anything in your vicinity or anything at all you would like for us to look at, don't hesitate to reach out to us underneath our videos up on YouTube, and also reach us on Twitter and on Instagram as well. We are at voptvlive on these platforms, and on YouTube it is Voice of the People TV. I am Moses Humphrey. Have a beautiful day. Bye for